What makes some women turn away a decent man? Even when everything seems perfect, what makes some women reject a decent man? Many men are perplexed by this question and find themselves going back and watching every second of today's video to see what went wrong. I'm delving deeply into this awkward reality and exposing 8 reasons why women may undermine a positive relationship, even when it seems like it's going well. This article is not intended to be biased or to place blame on women. It's about bringing attention to specific actions that might make men feel perplexed and irritated. By comprehending this cause and adopting a Stoic attitude, you can deal with these dynamics without losing your peace of mind. Stay with me through to the end, since every point will give you a fresh perspective and may be the solution to preventing a tremendous deal of emotional distress down the road. Let's get started. First place. Nature's replacement drive. Nature's replacement drive. The first explanation has a strong biological foundation. The drive for replacement, evolutionary programming, influences women, encouraging them to find the most valuable spouse for their future and well-being. Children. Consider it this way. Even when she is truly happy with you, there is a subconscious process in her head that constantly evaluates whether she has made the right choice. She instinctively seeks a partner who can safeguard her and provide a stable future. Imagine you are on a favorable career path, but you keep your eyes open for better job opportunities. You just want to make sure you're choosing the greatest option for your long-term relationship goals, not because you despise your current work. This manifests as women's irrational tendency to question the possibility of a better option, even in favorable circumstances. Assume that you were the best choice for her and that you were confident and ambitious when you first started the relationship. However, over time, you may have become more complacent or neglected the little things that gave her security. Without realizing it, she may start to distance herself, become more critical, or even show interest in other people. This may seem like sabotage, but in her mind, it's an unconscious attempt to determine whether she made the right decision or if she should be looking elsewhere. When this occurs, it's natural to feel offended or deceived. You might question why she would act in this manner if we were satisfied, but remember the Stoic lesson taught by Marcus Aurelius. Accept it as a natural survival mechanism and don't take it personally. It's not about you not being valuable. Rather, it's about her mind seeking comfort and stability. As a Stoic, you should concentrate on what you can control rather than attempting to influence her thoughts or behavior. By consistently striving to be your best self, you'll demonstrate to her the strength and value her instincts seek, not for her approval, but as an integral part of your individual journey. She will feel reassured that she already has a strong, valuable partner, so her worries may fade. If you observe signs of sabotage in your relationship, refrain from concluding that she is manipulative or disloyal. Instead, recognize that this behavior might stem from her innate instincts. You have the chance to consider whether you've become complacent or whether there are instances in which you no longer present yourself in your finest self. The challenge is an opportunity to realign with your highest ideals and remember that your sense of value should come from your core rather than from others' approval. Second on the list are those who thrive on drama and stress. This next point may surprise you. Many women actually thrive on a certain amount of conflict and drama in relationships. This isn't because they want to cause trouble or ruin what you have together. Rather, it's because a little emotional upheaval can keep things intriguing and dynamic. If everything is constant and predictable, she may become bored or emotionally stagnant, which could cause her to unintentionally start arguments or escalate small matters. Rekindling the spark is preferable to ruining the relationship. Consider a fantastic film. If the plot is uninteresting and predictable, the audience quickly loses interest. The same idea holds true in relationships, as men frequently yearn for security and tranquility. Not because she enjoys the arguments or chaos, but because the emotional roller coaster can make her feel more alive, connected, and engaged in the relationship. Women may find that a little bit of uncertainty and emotional highs and lows keep the connection exciting. For example, let's say that for a while everything between you two has been going well, with no conflict or tension, just consistent routine and harmony, and then all of a sudden she picks a fight over something trivial, like a comment you made or a slightly altered plan. You may wonder why she's upset when there's no actual problem. What's taking place? She is inadvertently adding a touch of drama to break the monotony and gauge the depth of your connection during these moments. It's essential to remember Seneca's advice: "He who is brave is free." It's easy to become frustrated or defensive when you sense her creating drama, especially when everything seemed fine. But a Stoic approach would encourage you to embrace this tension with a calm and steady demeanor instead of reacting with irritation or trying to avoid the conflict. Lean into it with courage and emotional stability. By doing so, you show her that you're not afraid of the ups and downs, that you're resilient and capable of handling whatever comes your way. When she brings tension into the relationship, don't see it as an attack or a sign of doom. Instead, view it as an opportunity to show your emotional strength. If she's escalating a small issue, stay calm, acknowledge her feelings and respond with empathy rather than defensiveness. For example, if she gets upset about something trivial, don't dismiss her emotions or argue back immediately. Instead, listen, validate her perspective, and maintain your composure. This shows her that you're unshaken by the chaos and that you can provide the emotional stability she subconsciously craves. This does not imply that you should intentionally initiate drama or participate in it. Finding a balance between providing a stable foundation and embracing the occasional turbulence that can make the relationship feel more vibrant and alive is crucial. Your job is not to avoid all conflict or tension, but to navigate it with grace and confidence by doing so. Conflict. The key is realizing that some emotional fluctuation is normal in relationships, especially when the honeymoon phase begins to fade. Now that you understand why tension and a little drama might actually be keeping the spark alive in your relationship, I want to hear from you about how you usually handle these moments of emotional turbulence. Do you lean into it with calm and confidence, or do you find yourself getting frustrated and defensive? You exhibit true Stoic strength and become the kind of partner she can deeply respect and trust, so the ups and downs become less about turmoil and more about deepening the connection, as she feels reassured that you can handle the full range of her emotions without losing your cool. If you believe that accepting the ups and downs is essential to forging a closer bond, please share your opinions in the comments section below. Just type, "I embrace the storm," and let's go on our trip together. Third, the never-ending search, the never-ceasing search for attention. Let's address a behavior that many guys find confusing and occasionally annoying. A woman's need for attention may cause her to look for approval from outside sources, even in a committed, healthy relationship. This behavior can manifest itself in various forms. Posting photos on social media to garner comments and likes is one example. You can attract attention at work by dressing up or engaging in harmless flirtation with others. It's simple to believe that she's unhappy with you or that she's searching for someone better, but that's frequently not the case. Instead, this behavior stems from a heightened need for recognition and approval. In today's environment, where social media and outside validation are ubiquitous, women frequently desire attention because it gives them a sense of validation and certainty. For many women, it's simple to feel as though they need a little extra boost to their self-esteem. Getting attention from others is a short-term solution to validate their value or beauty. When you're out with your partner and she starts taking selfies or appears more interested in checking her phone for notifications and comments, you might feel ignored and wonder why she needs this outside approval when you're right there giving her your whole attention. Perhaps she exhibits excessive friendliness with her male co-workers, leading you to question if your presence is sufficient for her needs. These behaviors can be discouraging because they give the impression that she's looking for something outside of the relationship at times like these. Instead of allowing her need for attention to disrupt your peace, consider stepping back and realize that this behavior often stems from her own insecurities. It's not a sign that you're failing, rather it's a reflection of her inner struggle to feel validated. Instead of reacting, shift your focus back to yourself and engage in activities that make you feel positive about yourself. By remaining grounded and not letting her actions dictate your emotional state, you can use the Stoic concept of ataraxia, a state of serene calmness, as your best tool. You exhibit genuine inner strength and self-assurance. It's important to preserve your own feeling of self-worth, and this type of serene, unwavering presence is appealing and comforting since it shows her that you're not easily shaken by outside influences. It's also beneficial to understand the possible source of this need for attention. Has she recently felt ignored or undervalued? If so, consider how you can boost her visibility and value in the relationship without compromising your own boundaries or identity. This doesn't mean you should become her go-to person for approval. That is unhealthy for both of you. Instead, concentrate on building a relationship where she feels truly valued, compliment her, notice the small things, and be present when you are together. This way, she might feel less of a need to look for that affirmation elsewhere. By responding with understanding and composure instead of anger or jealousy, you demonstrate to her that you are confident in yourself. This type of emotional resilience is strong and magnetic, reinforcing your position as a strong, stable partner who doesn't crumble under pressure. In the end, practicing ataraxia not only keeps you calm, but also helps restore stability to the relationship by making you the rock she can rely on, even when her own insecurities create the fourth wave of the survival mode. The mode of survival, the instinct of hypergamous. Understanding. The hypergamous instinct may offer some clarity, but it can be unsettling, particularly if you believe the connection is stable and secure. The unconscious inclination women have to go for the most valuable partner, one who can offer the finest resources, safety, and social standing, is known as hypergamy. This is a deeply rooted motivation that has been a part of human nature for thousands of years. It is not about petty desires. Women's instinct to provide the best future for themselves and their potential shapes their mating strategies. Whether consciously or unconsciously, Offspring is always considering whether her current spouse is the best choice. Her senses are set up to determine whether her wants, including financial security, are being properly met, even if she isn't actively looking for someone better while she's with you. Imagine a situation where you're going through a difficult time, such as losing your job, going through a difficult financial period, or appearing less motivated and focused than you were when you first started dating. Even if she still loves you, these changes could set off her hypergamous instinct, causing her to start withdrawing, become more critical, or doubt the future of the relationship. It's not that she stopped loving you, rather, her survival instincts are taking over, forcing her to consider whether remaining with you is the best option for her long-term security. This may be difficult to accept, particularly if you're putting your all into the relationship, but Stoics taught that we should accept human nature as it is, rather than wish it were otherwise. The hypergamous instinct is a component of her nature, driven by a desire for security. Instead of feeling deceived, realize that it's not a personal attack, but rather a reflection of her inherent survival strategy, as Marcus Aurelius reminds us. When you observe indications of hypergamous conduct, including her growing more aloof, judgmental, or doubting the relationship, it's normal to feel insecure or frustrated, but emotionally responding just serves to reinforce the idea that you might not be the greatest choice for her. Refocus on your objectives and show your worth through your activities. If you see her irrational desire for a high-value partner as a challenge rather than a threat, it can motivate you to keep aiming for excellence in your life and concentrate on your career and health. Take control of your personal development and demonstrate your ability to provide leadership and hypergamy needs. Your social connections and mental toughness. By becoming the finest version of yourself, you may naturally match the qualities her hypergamous instincts are looking for and demonstrate to her that she already has the most valuable partner without having to search elsewhere. This isn't about trying to impress her or anybody else. Remember that a Stoic objective is to manage oneself rather than control others. Committing to your own growth and stability creates a sense of security that her instincts will recognize and gravitate towards, enabling her to understand the hypergamous relationship. It can be difficult to trust instinct. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this, Swallow, especially if you've been putting it all into the relationship. Have there ever been moments when you felt as though your worth was being questioned by her? If so, how did you respond? If you feel that accepting this challenge is essential to growth, please share your experiences in the comments section. I accept the challenge. Let's continue playing mind games while watching number 5. Using mental games to gain psychological leverage, let's discuss a habit that many men encounter, but few understand. Mind games. Mind games. She tests your boundaries or makes you jealous, which is one of the worst parts of dating and relationships. This behavior isn't always malevolent, but it's a strategy women frequently employ to obtain psychological leverage and establish control in the relationship. The goal of mind games is to hold on to influence and power. It's her way of ensuring that she has a certain level of control, making you feel uncertain and emotionally invested. This isn't necessarily because she wants to hurt you. It's often a subconscious strategy to keep you hooked, to test your commitment, and to gauge how much you care by playing these games. She keeps you on your toes, ensuring that you remain emotionally engaged and attentive. Imagine she starts flirting with another guy in front of you, or she suddenly becomes distant, ignoring your texts and acting cold. You feel a wave of confusion and jealousy. You start to wonder, did I do something wrong? Is she losing interest in reality? She might be testing your reaction, trying to see if you'll chase after her or show signs of desperation. She uses this tactic to gain a psychological edge, keep you off balance, and increase your emotional investment in the relationship. This is where Epicurus's wisdom comes into play. Resist the temptation to succumb to her manipulation of your emotions or test your boundaries. Reacting impulsively or emotionally is the worst thing you can do. If you succumb to her tactics, you relinquish control and demonstrate your vulnerability. Instead, cultivate emotional detachment. This doesn't mean ignoring her or shutting down entirely. Rather, it means refusing to let her behavior control your emotions or behavior. For instance, if she flirts with someone else or becomes distant, refrain from hastily drawing conclusions or pursuing her for comfort. Instead, take a step back, observe her behavior objectively, and keep your composure. By maintaining your composure, you show her that you're resistant to her manipulation and that your self-worth is not dependent on her approval. When she engages in mind games, Her intention is to manipulate you into acting in an uncharacteristic or insecure manner. If you react, you're giving her the leverage she wants. But if you stay composed, confident and unaffected, you keep the power in your own hands. If she tries to make you jealous by bringing up other men or flirting in front of you, respond with calm indifference and don't let your emotions take over. Instead, smile. If her behavior crosses a boundary, respond calmly and assertively without losing your composure. She may realize that her games don't work on you, and she'll start to respect you more for it if you acknowledge her attempt and keep being your confident self. Although you shouldn't tolerate disrespect, you shouldn't react with insecurity or anger. Number 6. Acting on pure emotion, not logic. Your refusal to play along changes the dynamic of the relationship because you are no longer seeking her approval or attempting to win her over with reactive behavior. Instead, you are leading with calm confidence and embodying the Stoic ideal of inner tranquility and self-control. One of the most puzzling reasons why women occasionally ruin healthy relationships is that they often act based more on emotion than reason. This can be extremely frustrating, especially if you're a man who typically solves problems logically and believes that a stable relationship should inevitably lead to stability in her feelings. However, the truth is that current feelings often influence women more than logical reasoning or the overall trajectory of the relationship. Women frequently react emotionally, quickly, and intensely, following their feelings and instincts rather than making thoughtful decisions. While you may be preoccupied with the relationship's logical components, compatibility, common objectives, respect for one another, if she experiences a sudden wave of doubt, insecurity, or even boredom, the emotional climate is more likely to influence her, potentially overriding the logical reasons for staying in the relationship. Imagine this scenario. She's dating a guy who treats her well, is stable, supportive, and meets all her expectations. But one day she decides to leave him for someone who appears less reliable, but gives her an emotional thrill, a decision that appears illogical to an outside observer. It seems irrational, but from her perspective, it's about following what she feels in the moment. The excitement or intensity she experiences with this new person temporarily outweighs the logic of being with the stable, reliable partner, as frustrating as it can be. This behavior isn't about you falling short. It's often a reflection of her own inner turmoil. The Stoic concept of apatheia, which refers to the freedom from intense emotions, can provide guidance in this situation. In other words, it's not her emotional whims that cause your distress, but rather how you understand and react to them. Therefore, how should you react when she acts out of pure emotion? Epicus reminds us that the perspectives we hold about things trouble us, not the things themselves. The solution is to keep your own emotional balance. Avoid chasing after her or attempting to argue with her if she abruptly withdraws or begins acting strangely. Instead, concentrate on your own principles and goals in the moment and give her the space she needs to process her emotions without feeling pressured. This isn't about being difficult to get. Rather, it's about demonstrating to her that you can handle her emotional fluctuations by exercising emotional detachment and becoming calmer in her storm. This indicates that you're not allowing her emotional fluctuations to control your own emotional state, not that you're unconcerned or uncaring. She will begin to view you as a consistent, dependable presence the more you can preserve this inner calm. Over time, someone who doesn't easily lose their composure will learn to trust that you won't lose it under pressure or act rashly when things get difficult. Instead, you provide a stable, grounded presence that can weather her emotional swings and give her the space to process her feelings without worrying about pushing you away. This type of emotional resilience can help her feel safer and more secure in the relationship. If this speaks to you, please share your thoughts. Have her abrupt emotional changes ever taken you aback? Write your ideas in the comments section below on how you handled it and what you learned from the experience. If you're determined to remain composed and steady in the face of emotional upheavals, just type, "I am the anchor." Your viewpoint may be helpful to others going through similar situations. The seventh dynamic is the delusion of infinite possibilities. Infinite possibilities. The appearance of limitless possibilities in the current digital era has become a significant contributing factor to women's tendency to undermine healthy partnerships. Just a swipe or scroll through her Instagram feed exposes her to countless men showcasing their most exciting and attractive selves. This is a market where it feels like there's an endless supply of potential partners due to the rise of social media dating apps and constant online connectivity. This continual barrage of attention can produce the potent delusion that there is always someone better around the corner. This phenomenon is known as the paradox of choice. The more options she believes she has, the harder it becomes for her to be content with what she already has. Even if she is in a committed relationship, she may become restless or tempted to explore and see what else is out there. This isn't always because she's unhappy or that her current partner isn't meeting her needs. It's the allure of what might be. The pull of the illusion is the idea that by leaving, she might find something more exciting and perfect. This is what happens when you're dating someone who seems content and happy in the relationship, but you notice that she's constantly on her phone, interacting with strangers on social media, or browsing through dating apps, even if it's just out of boredom. She may tell herself it's harmless, but she's secretly feeding the idea that there might be someone better out there. The Stoics caution us against pursuing things beyond our control, particularly delusions brought on by outside forces. In other words, her discontent isn't based in reality, but rather in her perception that something better must exist, because she can see glimmers of it online as a Stoic. Marcus Aurelius wisely observed that when you experience distress from anything external, it's not the object itself that causes the pain, but rather your perception of it. Do not try to convince her you're the best or compete with these fleeting illusions. Instead, establish and maintain your own value based on substance rather than superficiality. The current world feeds on the idea that there are countless options, yet genuine, meaningful interactions are uncommon and valued when you stick to your course and prioritize your own development. Over time, you distinguish yourself from the cacophony and diversions. The pursuit of outside approval and the delusion of limitless possibilities frequently result in a feeling of emptiness, despite the thrill of receiving fresh attention. The thrill of receiving fresh attention quickly fades as the importance of a solid, long-term relationship becomes more apparent. But she must learn to distinguish between transient excitement and true connection on her own. Instead of making her see the difference, focus on your own growth, character, and purpose. Let her go through the highs and lows of pursuing illusions while you stay steady and unaffected. Eventually, she might realize that her relationship with you is far more meaningful than the momentary thrill of online attention. Number 8. You should not worry about it. Instead, it is about her future safety. This last. When a woman chooses to stay or go, it's rarely about you as an individual. Rather, it's usually more about what you can offer for her future security and happiness. In her eyes, you represent a potential path to a stable and fulfilling future. She is not cold or cunning. Rather, her actions stem from a biological drive that prioritizes her long-term survival and well-being. Women naturally prioritize creating the greatest possible future for themselves. This isn't because they are shallow or materialistic. Rather, it's a subconscious evaluation of what will best assure their survival and possibly the survival of their future offspring. If she feels that you are unable to meet her needs, be they social, emotional, or financial, she may start to distance herself from you or even end the relationship in search of a better opportunity elsewhere. Imagine a situation in which she is in a wonderful relationship with a kind, loyal, and loving man, but she breaks things off quickly and begins dating someone with more money or more access to outsiders. Although it may appear that she is sacrificing her love for wealth or status, she is actually making a choice based on what she thinks would best ensure her security in the future. She worries not only about the present, but also about the future. Will she receive proper care, lead a secure existence, and provide for her future children? Despite the challenges, you must recognize that her actions stem from her personal needs and impulses, not necessarily a lack of love or admiration for you. The Stoic approach in this situation is to let go of any connection to certain results. According to Marcus Aurelius, what stands in the way becomes the way. If her actions drive her to pursue something different, don't consider it a hindrance to your enjoyment. Consider it a chance for personal development and introspection, rather than turning into a bitter or resentful person and concentrating on securing your own future. Don't try to fit yourself into what you believe she wants or win her approval. Instead, become the architect of your own life and forge a course that is consistent with your actual values and objectives. Take a step back and assess your own life to see if you are on a path that brings you security and fulfillment, regardless of her presence. Is your future something you can be proud of, regardless of her participation? By honestly answering these questions and making the necessary adjustments, you not only strengthen your position, but also make yourself more appealing to anyone who values stability and purpose. If you notice that she is beginning to distance herself or show signs of doubt about the relationship, don't panic or try to convince her of your value. In today's world, it's critical to recognize the difference between perceived and true value, because it's simple to become enmeshed in outward symbols of achievement. While her instincts may lead her to pursue perceived value in the form of financial stability or social status, true Stoic value originates from inner strength, resilience, and integrity. The person who embodies true value will always stand out in the long run, which is why it's important to concentrate on developing your character and purpose when you build your life on a strong foundation of values rather than superficial markers of success. You attract people who value your true worth, not what you can give materially, but who you are and the life you're building. By taking charge of your life, you can shift the focus from her to yourself. This mindset not only frees you from the need for approval from others, but it also makes you the kind of person who is truly secure, independent, and fulfilled. Ironically, it's often this kind of inner strength and self-assurance that draws the right partner, someone who values you not only for what you can offer, but also for who you are. If you've read this far, congratulations. You're already demonstrating the kind of dedication to self-growth that will benefit you. I'd love to hear your opinions on how concentrating on your own beliefs and purpose has allowed you to navigate relationships more quietly, since she was guided by her intuition for future stability rather than a lack of admiration for you. Leave a remark below with your thoughts or simpl type Y, forge my own way. If you're dedicated to taking charge of your life and concentrating on what is really important to you, your tale may serve as motivation for someone else. As we wrap up today's in-depth examination of why some people. Conclusion: it has the potential to turn off a decent man. We've explored a landscape full of psychological insights and Stoic wisdom, even when everything else seems ideal. This journey isn't just about revealing unpleasant realities. It's also about developing a deeper comprehension of the complex dynamics that shape our relationships. By exploring these reasons, from biological drives to the pursuit of emotional excitement, we give ourselves the knowledge we need to handle these complexities without losing our peace of mind. It is crucial that we reflect on the teachings we have discussed today, as each one broadens our perspective and strengthens our emotional resilience. Knowing that some actions stem from ingrained reflexes or emotional needs can change the way we handle possible confrontations. This understanding enables us to react not with frustration or bewilderment, but with understanding and tolerance. I now invite you to share your thoughts and experiences, as the Stoic concepts of maintaining inner peace and focusing on controllable aspects are not merely philosophical ideals, but rather practical strategies that can significantly enhance our lives and relationships. Have you faced comparable difficulties in your relationships? What coping mechanisms have you employed, and what realizations have you made? Having this discussion is about creating a supportive and understanding community, not just about exchanging stories. We explore topics that not only challenge us, but also inspire us to grow and improve in all areas of life. Before you depart, pause to watch the suggested videos on your screen. We have selected these videos to enhance our current discussion and offer fresh perspectives on handling relationships with wisdom and balance. Thank you for spending your time with me today. Your participation and thoughtful responses truly enhance our discussions. Keep in mind that every step towards understanding is a step towards personal growth and deeper connections. Continue to work hard, reflect, and cultivate serenity in your relationships and within yourself.